Good morning, dear friends. Even though today may begin with uncertainty or resistance in your heart, you are not forgotten and you are not forsaken. The very breath you take is a reminder that God is still writing your story. And if today feels like a test, it is not because God is absent. It is because He is near, so near that He wants to shape something eternal in you, something holy, something refined, something stronger than you ever imagined. You may not understand His purpose right now, but you are invited to trust the process. So take a breath. Let your soul rise to Him, and let this prayer carry your heart into His will. God today is hard to grasp. It doesn't begin with clarity. It begins with tension, with resistance in my spirit. And yet, I want to say yes. I want to say yes to you, even when I do not see. I want to say yes even when it hurts, because I believe that you are still good. Even when I do not understand the why behind the weight I carry, I believe there is mercy hidden in this mystery. Lord, give me the courage to walk through the fire instead of running away from it. I know you never waste suffering. I know that your tests are not traps. They are invitations. Invitations to go deeper, to become holier, to be made new. So if today is a test, help me not to fight you. Help me not to argue with what you allow, but to lean into you with the trust of a child. Teach me how to accept your will, not as a punishment, but as a path that leads not to despair, but to sanctification. You see what I cannot. You know where I am headed. And you are not interested in comfort that keeps me small. You are interested in growth that makes me whole. So even if this day breaks me down, let it break me open to your grace. I surrender the need to be strong in my own strength. I surrender the illusion that I must have control. I surrender the fear that tells me I will not make it, because I am not walking alone. You are with me in the valley. You are with me when the winds rise. You are with me when everything feels uncertain. And you are never silent in my suffering. Help me hear your whisper beneath the noise. Help me recognize your hand even when it trembles my world. I choose to trust you, not because the road is easy, but because you are faithful. You did not promise ease, but you promised presence. You promised grace, and that is enough. Lord, stretch my faith until it learns to breathe in dark places. Grow my hope until it can stand when everything else falls. Build in me a strength that is not shaken by disappointment. I will not run from this test. I will not curse the day you are trying to bless. I choose to stay. I choose to kneel. I choose to say yes, even when my soul trembles, because you are God, and you are good, and you are with me. So take this moment, Lord. Take my fear, take my confusion, take my anger and my weariness. Take every part of me and make it yours again. Refine me, purify me, shape me through the fire, until all that is left is what you created me to be. Strong in love, rooted in trust, joyful in surrender, faithful through the storm. I am not afraid of today, not because I am brave, but because you are here. So I walk forward with open hands, trusting that even in this test, you are leading me somewhere sacred. And I will not miss what you are doing. I will not waste this trial. I will not despise the season you are using to grow me. Today I say yes, not because I feel ready, but because I know you are enough. And if you are testing me, it is because you are teaching me. And if you are teaching me, it is because you love me. And that is all the strength I need. And maybe this test is not about proving your strength, but about revealing God's strength in you. Maybe it's not about passing some invisible standard, but about learning how to rest in the truth that God's love for you is not conditional on your performance. Maybe He's letting you feel the weight of today not to crush you, but to awaken you to the depths of His mercy. When you are stretched beyond what you think you can handle, that's when His grace begins to pour into the cracks of your breaking, and every tear you try to hold back, He sees it. Every ache you can't explain, He feels it. And every moment you whisper, "I don't think I can do this," He answers, "You're not doing it alone." So even now, with trembling breath and a heart that may still question, you are free to say yes again. Not because everything makes sense, but because you choose to be faithful before you're comfortable. You choose to be grateful before the breakthrough. You choose to believe in the story God is writing, even when it still looks like ashes. And yes, there will be moments when your knees feel weak and your faith feels small, but even a mustard seed of surrender is enough to move mountains. You don't need to impress God today. You just need to invite Him into the place where you are most afraid, most confused, most exhausted. That place is holy now, because He is with you in it. And when He tests, He also provides. When He allows the storm, He also commands the winds. When He permits the desert, He also pours out manna from heaven. So let this prayer be your altar, and this moment be your offering. Offer up your will, your way, your timing, your expectations. Offer it all like incense rising toward a God who sees the bigger picture you cannot yet see. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. He is not withholding His hand. He is deepening your roots. He is not being silent. He is inviting you to listen deeper than you ever have. And if the ground is shaking beneath your feet, maybe it is because God is rebuilding the foundation of your life to hold more of His glory. Maybe the things falling apart are the very things He never asked you to hold on to in the first place. So open your hands, loosen your grip, let go of what was never meant to save you, and take hold of what cannot be shaken: His word, His promises, His presence. God is not finished with you. This test is not the end of your story. It is the threshold of something new. So walk through it with boldness, even if your heart is still scared. God never asked you to feel strong, only to be willing. And you are willing. That's why you are here, still praying, still reaching, still showing up with your heart cracked wide open. And that is worship. That is surrender. That is the kind of faith that makes heaven stand still. The kind that invites angels to draw near. The kind that brings beauty from ashes and light from darkness. So don't be afraid of the fire. You are not being burned. You are being forged. Forged into something radiant, something eternal, something no enemy can steal. Let this test refine you, not define you. Let it remind you of whose you are. You are not your failures. You are not your feelings. You are not your fears. You are a beloved child of the Most High, and He is fighting for you, even in this. So breathe deep, lift your eyes, take one more step, and know that when you walk into this day with trust in your heart and His name on your lips, the trial may still rage, but your soul will be at peace, because you are not alone, you are not forgotten, you are being led, you are being loved, you are being made new. When you feel like you've reached the edge of your endurance, when your prayers sound more like groans than words, know that the Holy Spirit Himself intercedes for you with sighs too deep for language. You are not left to carry this weight alone. Even now, heaven leans close to listen. And even now, the God who made the stars is kneeling beside you, steadying your trembling hands. Every moment of resistance within you, every longing to run away from this test, every quiet cry behind your smile, He understands it all. He is not disappointed in your weakness. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is here in the mess, in the confusion, in the waiting, and what He is shaping in you cannot be built in comfort alone. It takes the fire of trial to refine gold. It takes the storm to reveal the roots. It takes the night to reveal the light within you that cannot be extinguished. So don't despise this test. Let it become holy. Let it become sacred ground where your faith learns to walk when it cannot see. God is more committed to your transformation than to your temporary relief. And though He allows the trial, He also ordains the outcome. He has already seen your victory. He has already written your redemption into the pages of your pain. So don't give up halfway through the chapter. There is more. There is deeper joy, fuller peace, greater intimacy with God on the other side of this testing. What He is forming in you is not just for today, but for eternity. Your strength today is not measured by your ability to do more, but by your willingness to surrender more. Surrender is not weakness, it is worship. It is trust in action. It is saying to God, even if I don't understand, I will still follow. Even if I feel afraid, I will still obey. Even if I feel broken, I will still believe. And that kind of faith moves mountains. That kind of faith silences the lies of the enemy. That kind of faith invites heaven to dwell right here in the middle of your human struggle. So take heart, you who feel tested. You are in the hands of a good Father. He does not allow trials to break you, but to build you into a vessel worthy of His glory. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it stretches you beyond what you thought you could survive. But what is being built is more precious than gold. God is not delaying because He has forgotten you. He is preparing a testimony that will one day strengthen others walking the same road. This is not just about you. This is about generations, about legacies, about eternity. So let your worship rise, not from ease, but from endurance. Let your gratitude grow not just in blessing, but in burden. Let your faith mature not only in answered prayers, but in silence that still trusts. Because even in silence, He speaks. Even in waiting, He moves. Even in darkness, He is light. You are not lost in this test. You are being led through it. So lift your head, not because the storm has passed, but because your Savior is in the storm with you. Lift your voice, not because you have all the answers, but because you know the one who holds all things together. Lift your heart, not because you feel strong, but because you are choosing to believe that His strength is made perfect in your weakness. And even now, even here, even in this, He is enough. He is always enough, and He is with you. Maybe the greatest miracle today will not be your circumstances changing, but your heart being transformed in the middle of what stays the same. Because when God tests you, He is not watching from a distance. He is not grading your performance. He is purifying your soul. He is helping you let go of false hopes so you can hold on to what is truly eternal. And it may not feel like a miracle when all you're doing is choosing to get up, breathe, and trust Him again, but that choice echoes in heaven. that quiet decision to stay faithful when no one sees it, to forgive when you want to stay bitter, to be gentle when everything inside you wants to fight. These are holy victories. These are the moments that shape your eternity. You are not wasting your pain when you place it in God's hands. And every time you surrender again, you are saying, God, I believe you are still good even here. That kind of surrender changes everything. It changes your thoughts. It changes your vision. It changes your posture. Suddenly, the test is no longer a punishment. It becomes a path to deeper union with Christ. You begin to see that this suffering is not the end, but the invitation to become like Him. You remember that Jesus Himself was tested in the wilderness, in the garden, on the cross, and He never turned away. So now, as you face your own testing, you are not walking where He has not already gone. He understands. He empathizes. He strengthens you from within. He is not only your Savior, He is your companion on the hardest roads. So speak to Him as you walk. Talk to Him even if all you have are broken words. He receives them, He redeems them, and He responds, not always with immediate change, but always with sustaining grace. Today you may not feel powerful. You may feel like you are breaking. But there is a kind of breaking that leads to becoming softer, kinder, holier, freer. When your pride breaks, humility rises. When your independence breaks, communion begins. When your illusion of control breaks, surrender takes root. And God can do more with your surrender than He ever could with your strength. So do not be afraid of what is falling apart. Do not fear the silence or the slowness or the days that feel like wilderness. God is not in a hurry. He is patient with your process. And even in your failures, He is faithful. Even in your setbacks, He is sowing seeds that will bear fruit in time. So keep showing up with your heart. Keep returning to prayer, not because it always feels good, but because you know who you belong to. And the one you belong to is not a distant God. He is your Father. He does not shame you for your struggle. He blesses you for your perseverance. He does not ignore your fears. He invites you to place them in His hands. And even now, even here, He is working behind the scenes. He is preparing divine appointments you cannot yet see. He is opening doors that have not yet appeared. He is softening hearts that you thought were unreachable. And all He asks is that you trust Him long enough to see the harvest that will come from the soil of this very day. The test is not a sign of His absence. It is a sign of His investment. He is investing in your eternity. He is shaping you into someone who will carry His light into the world, not just with words, but with scars that shine. So let your scars shine. Let your weakness become a canvas for His strength. Let your broken pieces be the places where His glory breaks through. Because what He is doing in you today is not just for today. It is for generations to come. It is for the quiet moments when others will look at you and say, "How did you not give up?" And you will smile through your tears and say, "Because God was with me. Even when I didn't feel Him, even when I didn't understand Him, even when everything was falling apart, He was holding me together." That is the testimony being written even now. That is the faith that cannot be stolen. That is the love that cannot be shaken. And that is what makes this day holy. And if today becomes the day that brings you to the end of yourself, then let it also be the day that brings you fully into the arms of God. Because there is no safer place to break than in the presence of the one who can rebuild you. There is no shame in falling when you fall at his feet. There is no weakness in crying when your tears are prayers too deep for words. There is no defeat when your surrender becomes worship. So stop measuring your worth by how strong you appear and begin remembering your identity in the one who never stops calling you his. You are not defined by what you carry. You are not defined by how well you perform under pressure. You are defined by the voice that called you by name before the foundations of the earth. And that voice is still speaking now, not with condemnation, but with compassion. Not with accusation, but with assurance. You are not failing this test. You are being formed by it. And while your flesh may want comfort, your spirit knows this is sacred ground, because it is here, in the fire, where idols fall away. It is here, in the stretching, where your false dependencies are exposed. It is here, in the refining, where your soul finds what truly satisfies. God is removing what cannot stay, because he is making room for what is eternal. He is stripping away the distractions that once dulled your hunger for him. He is awakening a faith in you that does not waver with circumstances, a faith that chooses worship over worry, surrender over control, stillness over striving. So if it hurts today, it is not meaningless pain. It is the labor pain of a new beginning. If it feels lonely today, it is not abandonment. It is consecration. You are being set apart. You are being prepared, and preparation does not happen in public. It happens in the hidden places. It happens in the quiet obedience. It happens in the unseen yes. So let today be filled with yes after yes, no matter how small. Yes to silence when you want to speak in fear. Yes to patience when everything in you wants to rush. Yes to kindness when the world feels harsh. Yes to hope when you want to shut down. These yeses are seeds that will bloom in time. These yeses are bricks laid in the foundation of your calling. These yeses are the very things that make you more like Christ. And the more you say yes in the fire, the more you will begin to feel the peace that passes understanding. Not because the fire is gone, but because God is in it. You may not feel it yet, but you are changing. You are growing. You are being made new. And what God is building in you through this test will not collapse when the storms come, because it was built not in the shallows, but in the depths. It was built in the quiet prayers. It was built in the tears you wiped away alone. It was built in the nights you almost gave up. You are becoming the kind of person who knows how to stand, not because everything is easy, but because you know who stands with you. So don't rush the process. Don't curse the journey. Don't waste the waiting. Let every hard thing become holy in the hands of your Father. Let every unanswered question be a door through which trust walks deeper. Let every test become a testimony still unfolding. Because one day, you will look back and see what God was doing in all the delays, in all the detours, in all the denials. You will see that He never left you. You will see that He was not withholding joy, but preparing you to hold more of it. You will see that every fire was not the end, but the beginning of a purer faith, the beginning of a deeper love, the beginning of a holy strength that no test can take away. And when you see it, you will lift your hands, not to ask why, but to say thank you. You will bless the fire, because it revealed the face of God. In the quiet space that suffering has carved within you, something begins to rise, not noise, not anxiety, not confusion, but clarity. The kind of clarity that cannot be taught through comfort, only revealed through fire. You begin to realize that your prayers have changed. You are no longer only asking for ease, you are asking for endurance. You are no longer chasing signs, you are listening for His whisper. You are no longer begging for the storm to end, you are asking to walk on water through it. And that shift, that transformation, is evidence that God is not only present, He is actively at work inside your heart. The test is still real, but it no longer owns you. The struggle is still painful, but it no longer defines you. Because something deeper is taking root. A holy joy that doesn't depend on answers, a sacred confidence that doesn't demand control, a peace that flows not from outcomes, but from abiding in the one who holds all outcomes in His hands. You begin to walk differently. You start to carry your burdens with an open heart rather than a clenched fist. You begin to show grace to others even when no one sees your sacrifice. You begin to speak words of life when you could have spoken bitterness. And this is the quiet revolution of a soul that has met God in the furnace. The more you are refined, the more clearly you reflect His light. And that light is not loud, it is steady. It does not boast, it simply burns. It keeps burning when no one applauds. It keeps shining when no one affirms. It stays faithful when no one understands. Because it is not powered by human strength. It is fueled by divine presence. And as you move through this day, no matter what it brings, you carry that light within you. You carry the stillness that comes from surrender. You carry the wisdom that only testing can teach. You carry the humility that says, "Lord, I will follow you even when the path is steep." You no longer need to demand the timeline because you trust the one who stands outside of time. You no longer ask for everything to be restored the way it was, because you now believe He is doing something better, something that could only be born through this very valley. The test has become the threshold, and you are stepping through it, not the same person who entered it, but someone remade, recentered, reawakened to the presence of God in all things. You no longer fear the breaking, because you've seen what beauty He can bring from the pieces. You no longer avoid silence, because you found Him dwelling in the quiet. You no longer shrink from the unknown, because you've discovered that the unknown is not empty. It is full of God's voice. And now, with all that He has built within you through this fire, you are ready not only to endure the day, but to bless it. You are ready to be sent. You are ready to love someone who doesn't deserve it. You are ready to forgive what felt impossible to forgive. You are ready to speak peace into a chaotic world. You are ready to carry God's presence into rooms that feel hopeless. You are ready to be an answer to someone else's prayer. And this is how God uses the tested, not just to survive, but to serve. Not just to endure, but to overflow. Not just to heal, but to heal others. The pain you thought would bury you has become the soil from which resurrection is blooming. And you carry the fragrance of that resurrection wherever you go. Because today you did not give up. You did not harden your heart. You did not close your hands. You opened. You allowed. You trusted. And heaven saw it. Heaven honored it. And heaven will never forget what you chose in secret. Your yes echoes in eternity. And now that your heart has been softened, Now that your soul has been poured out and made empty before the Lord, something even more sacred begins to take shape. Not as noise, not as a sudden miracle, but as a quiet strength you didn't know was possible. It is the kind of strength that is not afraid of weakness anymore. It is the kind of trust that doesn't bargain with God, but simply breathes in His presence like air. You are no longer asking, "Why me?" but instead whispering, "Use me." You are no longer pleading for the storm to stop. You are learning to sing in the rain. You are no longer looking for a way around the suffering. You are walking straight through it with eyes that search for God in every shadow. Because something in you has changed. Something in you is now more still, more eternal, more anchored in heaven than it is in the world. You are not who you were when the test began. You are more aware of what matters. You are more alert to the gentle nudges of grace. You are more available to the purposes of God, even when they don't match your preferences. You are being made holy, not just through theology or doctrine, but through the fire of lived surrender. And the more you release, the lighter you become. The lighter you become, the more freely you love. The more freely you love, the more visible Christ becomes in your life. This is the holy progression of a soul that does not resist God's hand, but yields to it daily. And you are learning, moment by moment, that real peace has never depended on answered prayers. It has always been found in yielded hearts. You are learning that obedience is not a transaction, it's a relationship. It is not about doing more to get more. It is about walking with God when there is nothing left to earn, nothing left to prove, and everything left to give. Because now you know, the test was never about your strength, it was about His love. A love that doesn't change when you fail. A love that doesn't waver when you question. A love that doesn't disappear when the night feels long. A love that sits with you when you cannot stand. A love that carries you when you are too weary to walk. A love that restores your breath when all you can do is weep. And that love is still here. It has not moved. It has not withdrawn. It has only drawn closer. You can feel it now, not like a firework, but like a flame. Not loud, but constant. Not dramatic, but steady. This flame is the presence of God inside of you. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is alive in you, holding your soul together. And if He is alive in you, then no test can undo what He has begun. No pain can cancel the promise. No storm can silence the word He has spoken over your life. So walk today not as someone who is waiting for God to show up, but as someone who knows that God already has. He showed up in the fire. He showed up in the silence. He showed up in the breaking. He showed up in the moment you whispered, "I surrender," even when surrender scared you. He showed up in your weakest hour and called you beloved. He is here. He is always here. And He is not done. He is still writing, still shaping, still forming the deepest places of your heart to reflect His own. And this is not just about surviving the day. This is about becoming someone who reveals God in the day, someone whose eyes see through the lens of heaven, someone whose life points to mercy, not fear, someone whose words are drenched in grace, not control, someone whose yes to God today will still echo into eternity long after the test has passed. Because when God tests you, He is not measuring your limits. He is inviting you into fullness. And now you are beginning to taste that fullness. It is not flashy, it is not loud, but it is real, it is steady, It is enough. And you too are becoming steady. You are becoming enough, not in yourself, but in Him. You are learning to walk in the fullness of surrender. You begin to recognize that even your ordinary moments are no longer ordinary. Every breath becomes an act of trust. Every step becomes an act of obedience. Every word you speak carries the fragrance of the fire you walked through. You are no longer living from fear, you are living from grace. You are no longer measuring your worth by what goes right. You are anchored in the truth that God's presence is the only victory you need. And because He is with you, you lack nothing. You may not have everything the world says you need, but you have the one thing no storm can take, His nearness. And His nearness has changed you. You don't flinch the same way when trials come. You don't panic the same way when plans fall apart. You don't cling the same way to the comfort that once seduced your peace, because your roots have grown deeper. Your eyes have been trained to see in the dark. Your ears have been tuned to hear the whisper of heaven in the middle of earthly noise. You no longer live to avoid pain. You live to follow the presence of God, even if that presence leads you through wilderness. You no longer beg for escape. You ask for endurance, not because suffering is beautiful, but because the fruit that comes from it is holy. You understand now, this test was never the enemy. The real enemy was the lie that told you God had abandoned you, that your pain was pointless, that your weakness disqualified you, and now that lie has been silenced. Now the truth rings louder. You are loved, not despite your trial, but through it. You are chosen, not after the fire, but in the middle of it. You are being transformed not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Willing to say yes when it's hard. Willing to be faithful when no one sees. Willing to love when love costs everything. Willing to trust when trust means losing control. And this willingness has become your offering. You may not have perfection to give, but your surrender is precious. It is fragrant. It rises like incense before the throne of God. And He is pleased. Yes, even now, even if you still feel small, even if you still feel afraid, even if nothing around you has changed. Because something inside you has. You are now the one who walks with God, not just in celebration, but in testing. You are now the one who wakes up and says, "Even if I feel nothing, I will still worship." You are now the one who understands that every wilderness becomes a holy ground when you invite God into it. You are now the one who carries peace into rooms that do not yet know it. And this too is part of your calling. To become so deeply rooted in Christ that even when the winds howl and the fire burns and the storm does not pass, you remain. Not because you are unshakable, but because He is, and you are in Him. And if you are in Him, then no weapon formed against you can prosper. No fear can rule you. No darkness can define you, because your identity is sealed in light. You are a child of God, not just when you feel strong, not just when prayers are answered, but always, now, today, in this very breath. So live like it, breathe like it, walk into this day like someone who knows they are held, speak like someone who knows their words carry heaven's fire, love like someone who knows it may hurt, but it is worth it. And let this be your daily rhythm, not waiting for the test to pass, but walking with the one who teaches you how to rise within it. Let your life become the evidence that faith still flourishes in the fire. That trust still grows in the unknown, that worship still rises from the ashes. And when others see you, may they not only see someone who survived, but someone who shines, because they chose to walk through the test, hand in hand with the God who never let go. So now, as you step into whatever this day holds, walk not as one who is uncertain, but as one who has been seen, loved, and strengthened by the living God. This test is not your defeat. It is your divine preparation. It is not the end. It is the beginning of a faith that breathes deeper, loves wider, and stands firmer than ever before. And you are ready, not because you feel ready, but because God has declared over your life, "My grace is sufficient for you." That grace will carry you. That grace will protect you. That grace will hold your heart when it trembles and lift your hands when they grow tired. You will not walk alone. You never have. Even in the darkest moments, His footsteps were beside yours. His Spirit was interceding for you, and His hand was guiding you towards something greater than you could imagine. So take a breath. Take the first step. Let your heart rise again, not in fear, but in faith. And remember this: you are not being tested to prove yourself. You are being refined to reveal the one who lives within you. The world may not understand your peace. The world may not see your surrender, but heaven sees it, and heaven rejoices. Because today, in a world that tells you to give up, you chose to trust. In a world that glorifies control, you chose surrender. In a world that fears the fire, you walked through it and found God in the middle. And that is no small thing. That is victory. That is holy. That is sacred. So go now. Go in peace. Go in courage. Go with a heart wide open and a spirit anchored in truth. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you. May He give you strength for every step and grace for every breath. May He fill your hands with compassion, your lips with kindness, and your path with purpose. And when the day ends, may you look back not with regret, but with awe at how far you've come and how present God has been through it all. You are His. You are loved. You are ready. Amen. Before you move on with your day, take a quiet moment to let this prayer remain with you. Let it sink deeper than words, deeper than fear, deeper than doubt. Let it become your posture, your anchor, your breath. And if your heart longs for more mornings like this, mornings that begin not with pressure, but with peace, not with worry, but with worship, you are warmly invited to subscribe to this channel. Each day, a new prayer will be here waiting for you. No matter where you are or what you carry, this space will always remain a quiet room for your soul to rest, renew, and rise again. So until we meet again tomorrow, go in peace, walk in trust, and never forget. Grace will meet you exactly where you are.